The term Sigma male is often misunderstood. It's not just a label or a trend. It describes a mindset, a way of living that's based on independence, self-control, and quiet strength. Many people throw the word around without really understanding what it means. That's why this video focuses on clear signs, not vague guesses. Sigma males don't always stand out in obvious ways. They're not loud. They're not always in front. And they rarely explain themselves. But if you know what to look for, the signs are there. These signs don't come from what a Sigma male says, they come from how he lives. You might be someone who has always felt different. Not rebellious just for the sake of it, but uninterested in following the crowd. You move at your own pace. You don't chase trends or try to impress others. You prefer quality over quantity, truth over performance, and freedom over status. That mindset can confuse people. It can even make you question yourself if you're surrounded by people who value popularity over principles. But once you recognize these signs, you'll start to see that there's nothing wrong with how you move. You're not broken, you're simply built for a different kind of life. The Sigma path isn't loud. It's not flashy. But it's powerful. Because it's not based on seeking approval. It's based on knowing who you are and living by that standard every single day. In this video, we're going to break down 6 clear signs that reveal you're living like a Sigma male, even if you never called yourself one. These signs aren't about trying to be something. They're about recognizing what already feels natural to you. Sign number 1. You feel comfortable being alone. A lot of people say they're okay being alone. But deep down, they don't really mean it. They get restless without attention. They feel uneasy without someone to talk to. But for Sigma males, being alone isn't something to survive. It's something to enjoy. You don't avoid people out of fear. You simply know that you function better when you have space. Whether it's going for long walks, working alone, or just spending a weekend without plans, solitude doesn't feel like a problem. It feels like peace. This comfort with being alone isn't about isolation. It's about clarity. When you're alone, your thoughts settle. You can hear yourself think. You're not being pulled in different directions by noise, opinions, or pressure. You're just being you. People sometimes misunderstand this. They assume you're lonely, upset, or avoiding something. But you're not. You just understand the value of silence and space. You don't need a crowd to feel complete. You already feel whole without the extra noise. This also means you don't fear missing out. While others jump from one event to the next, afraid of being left out, you're fine doing your own thing. You don't measure your life by how busy your schedule looks. You measure it by how balanced you feel. That comfort with solitude is one of the strongest signs of a Sigma male. Because most people crave connection so badly that they'll settle for anything. But you don't settle. You'd rather be alone than in the wrong company. And when you do choose to connect, it's intentional. You don't surround yourself with just anyone. You protect your energy and you share your space with people who respect it. That mindset might seem strange to others, but to you, it's just how life works best. Sign number 2. You follow your own inner compass. Some people live their entire lives based on what others expect from them. They follow the rules. They do what's normal. They chase approval without even realizing it. But if you're a Sigma male, you don't live that way. You make decisions based on your own internal standards, not on what society tells you is right. This doesn't mean you're reckless. It means you're thoughtful. You take time to figure out what really matters to you. And once you find it, you stick to it. You don't get distracted by every new trend. You don't need to copy what's popular. You already have a direction, and it comes from inside. You may have felt this since a young age. While others were eager to fit in, you were more curious about what felt true. You didn't just go along with the crowd. You asked questions. You made your own choices. And even if it made you stand out, you didn't care. Following your own path doesn't mean ignoring advice. It means filtering it. You listen, but you decide. You observe, but you choose. You're not controlled by pressure or fear. You're led by principle. This inner compass helps you avoid getting lost in the noise. When people panic, you stay calm. When others rush to follow the latest thing, you wait to see if it aligns with your values. You don't react, you respond. And that response comes from a place that's solid. This mindset also shows in how you handle goals. You don't chase things just because others say they're important. You work toward what matters to you. And if that takes longer or looks different from what others are doing, that's fine with you. People might not understand your choices. They might question your timing or direction. But deep down, you're not looking for permission. You're not asking to be understood. You're living by a code that you wrote for yourself. And that's a clear sign you're not just following the path, you're building it. Sign number 3. You speak only when it's worthwhile. In a world full of constant chatter, Sigma males stand out because they don't talk just to fill space. You're not the type to force conversation or speak just to be heard. You wait. You listen. You speak when there's something worth saying, and that silence makes your words matter more. Small talk feels like a waste. You'd rather stay quiet than talk about things that have no depth. It's not that you're rude or dismissive. You just don't enjoy talking unless it leads somewhere real. You're not interested in gossip, shallow opinions, or bragging. If the conversation isn't genuine, you naturally disconnect. This often makes people curious. They wonder what's going on in your mind. Some may even think you're cold or distant. But the truth is, you're just selective. You don't speak out of habit. You speak with purpose. When you do choose to talk, people listen. Your words carry weight because they're not constant. You've taken the time to think, and that shows. Whether it's giving advice, making a point, or just adding a few words to a conversation, your voice cuts through the noise. This trait also helps you stay out of drama. While others react emotionally, speak impulsively, or get pulled into arguments, you stay grounded. You don't feel the need to prove yourself in every conversation. You let your silence do the work. And when someone pushes you for a reaction, you don't give it easily. You're in control of what you say, when you say it, and how. That kind of control is rare, and it often confuses people who are used to instant responses and oversharing. This sign shows maturity and discipline. It's not about being quiet for the sake of it. It's about knowing that your words matter and using them wisely. It's also about protecting your peace. Talking too much opens doors that don't need to be opened. You speak when it's needed, and the rest of the time you stay focused. If you've ever been told that you don't talk enough or that you're hard to read, take it as a sign. It usually means you're more in tune with your thoughts than most. And in a noisy world, that makes your quiet a sign of strength. Sign number 4. You maintain strong boundaries. Naturally. Some people struggle to say no. They let others push their limits, take their time, or drain their energy just to avoid conflict or guilt. But Sigma males don't live like that. If something doesn't feel right, you say no. If someone crosses a line, you make it clear. Boundaries aren't something you're learning to build. They're something you already live by. This natural sense of boundaries confuses others. They're used to people who bend, who explain themselves, who try to please. But you don't explain your every move. You don't feel the need to justify your space. You just protect it. Quietly. Firmly. And without apology. This shows up in how you manage your time. You don't overbook yourself. You don't say yes just because it's expected. You don't get guilt-tripped into doing things that drain you. Your time is valuable, and you treat it that way, even if no one else does. It also shows up in relationships. You don't tolerate manipulation, mind games, or people who disrespect your standards. The moment you feel something's off, you pull back. Not to punish, but to protect. You know that your energy is limited, and you're not giving it to people who don't respect it. These boundaries aren't loud or aggressive. You don't yell or threaten. You just move differently. If someone crosses a line, you don't argue, you step away. And that quiet exit often speaks louder than words. You also set boundaries with yourself. You don't waste time. You don't let distractions control your day. You build systems, habits, and limits that keep you focused. And when you slip, you adjust quickly. That self-discipline makes your outer boundaries even stronger. People might call you distant or difficult, but that's because they're not used to someone who doesn't need constant approval. You're not rude, you're clear. You're not cold, you're committed. And you don't need everyone to like you. You just need peace. Having strong boundaries is a major sign of the Sigma mindset. It shows that you've done the inner work. You know your limits, your priorities, and your worth. And you're not afraid to act on them, no matter who misunderstands. Sign number 5. You learn privately, grow quietly. While most people post every step of their journey online, Sigma males do the opposite. You work on yourself in private. You read, think, observe, and apply, all without making a big deal out of it. Growth isn't something you advertise. It's something you live. This quiet approach to self-improvement surprises people. They don't see the process, so when you suddenly show up stronger, more skilled, or more focused, they're confused. But for you, the change wasn't sudden. It was the result of quiet effort over time. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're trying to become better, for your own reasons. Whether it's mental, physical, emotional, or financial, your growth is personal. You don't need permission. You don't need applause. You just need progress. This mindset helps you stay grounded. You're not chasing goals for attention. You're chasing them because they align with who you want to be. You don't talk about every book you read or every routine you start. You just apply what works and let it show in your results. It also helps you avoid burnout. Because your growth isn't tied to performance, you can focus on what matters. You're not faking anything for others. You're just putting in the work when no one's watching. That creates real, lasting change. Others may never know how much you've changed. They might not see the struggles, the setbacks, or the breakthroughs. But that's fine with you. You didn't do it for them. You did it for yourself. This quiet growth builds confidence. Because it's not based on external praise, it becomes unshakable. You know what you've done. You know how far you've come. And that knowledge doesn't need to be shared, it just needs to be lived. If you've ever surprised people with how much you've changed, without ever announcing it, you're showing one of the clearest signs of a Sigma mindset. You grow in silence. And when the change finally shows, it's undeniable. Sign number 6. You stay calm in chaos. In tense situations, most people react without thinking. They panic, shout, rush to fix things, or let their emotions take over. But if you're a Sigma male, your instinct is the opposite. When everything around you feels out of control, you become more focused. You stay calm. You don't lose your balance just because the world is shaking. This ability to stay calm in chaos sets you apart. It doesn't mean you don't feel stress. It just means you don't let it control you. You take a moment. You breathe. You think before speaking, before acting, and before deciding what to do next. While others are reacting, you're already processing the situation and adjusting. People often underestimate you because of this. They assume you're not paying attention or that you don't care. But the truth is, you're probably seeing things more clearly than anyone else. You're not distracted by noise. You're not clouded by fear. You're focused on what matters, and that calm makes you effective. This trait shows up in arguments, emergencies, and high-pressure moments. While others are fueled by emotion, you remain steady. You speak with control. You act with intention. And even if you're feeling everything inside, you don't let it leak out in a way that causes more damage. Staying calm is a strength most people don't develop. It requires emotional control, clear thinking, and trust in your own ability to handle problems. Sigma males don't need to show panic to prove they care. They prove they care by solving the problem, not by reacting to it. This steady presence makes you someone others eventually look to. In group settings, people might ignore you at first. But when pressure hits, they start to see your value. You're the one who doesn't get pulled into chaos. You stay grounded. And that presence brings clarity when everything else feels uncertain. This isn't something you fake. It's something you've built over time. Maybe you've gone through difficult experiences that forced you to develop this mindset. Maybe you've always been someone who doesn't like drama. Either way, that calm is real, and it separates you from the crowd. If you've ever noticed that you're the one keeping your head when others lose theirs, that's no accident. It's a sign of strength that doesn't need to raise its voice. It's the sign of someone who leads without trying to lead. That kind of calm makes no noise, but it makes a big impact. Outro. The Sigma male path isn't about trying to be someone else. It's about recognizing who you already are and understanding why you move the way you do. These signs don't make you better than anyone else, but they do make you different. And in a world that values noise, attention, and approval, moving quietly and confidently is rare. You feel comfortable being alone because you know yourself. You follow your own compass because you trust your judgment. You speak only when it matters because you value truth over talk. You maintain boundaries because you know your worth. You grow in silence because you want results, not applause. And you stay calm in chaos because you've learned how to lead yourself first. None of these signs are about being perfect. They're about being intentional. And that's the core of the Sigma mindset. You don't follow trends. You follow truth. You don't need a crowd to feel seen. You just need to be real with yourself. If you saw yourself in these signs, it's not about adding a label to your identity. It's about accepting that your instincts aren't wrong. The way you think, the way you choose, and the way you live, all of it is valid. Even if others don't understand it. Being a Sigma male isn't about being distant or cold. It's about being selective, focused, and deeply independent. And once you recognize those traits in yourself, you don't have to change who you are to fit in. You just need to lean into it. So if these signs made sense to you, that's not a coincidence. It's clarity. And that clarity is the first step to owning who you are without apology. Keep moving forward. Quietly. Powerfully. On your own terms.